side of the intro. Bye-bye.
Pressure's up.
Welcome to Beating a Dead Horse, the podcast where we take the things that have been talked to death and talk about them some more. Please submit topics to Twitter at HotchJoshMC, hashtag Beating a Dead Horse. The podcast is recorded live at twitch.tv/HotchJoshMC, so if you haven't caught one live, come and check it out every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And now, your hosts, Josh and Jonathan. This is Beating a Dead Horse. Hey guys, welcome to Beating a Dead Horse, episode 16. Episode 16, I think, is the right number, right?
I think so.
Let me adjust things. I didn't adjust that we were live. Now Twitch says we're live. We are live. So thank you. Thank you and welcome to episode 16. I'm going to, in the chat real quick, as we always do, say hello to those in the chat. So I do want to say a thank you to JBJ Blaze and Simon Hutz Gaming for being here in the chat room when we start. So thank you. If you are watching this on YouTube, as you may be, then why weren't you here at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on a Tuesday? Because that's when we get here. And you can come and hang out with us and be fun. So that is that. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. As if you would like to send us a topic, do not forget that you can always send them to, let me pull it up, boom, HotchJoshMC or at BeachJD on the tweets or the Twitter or whatever you call it. You can come and you can send us a tweet and hashtag BADH and submit topics, things you would like to hear us talk about and rant about and such. That being said, we're going to start and get into this. So, the first thing I would like to talk about is the wonderful Apple or iOS 8.0.1 update that Apple threw down on us last week. Those of you that know, I got an iPhone 6. Boom. Jonathan has still not got one, so he doesn't like that I have one, and so I'm gonna hold it right here the whole episode.
That's right.
Just so he can see
Show
it.
it off.
So you know what, Apple has had. I'm gonna talk about iOS 8.0.1. Then we'll talk about Bengate because I know everybody wants to talk about it. We'll get there. Bengate's coming. So 8.0.2. is now out, but before that, last week they introduced 8.0.1, and if you're an iPhone person like me, an Apple person like me, you kind of watch when these updates come out, especially when it's the first run of software. I always watch for that first bug fix that normally comes out within the first week of the software coming out. So I saw 8.0.1 was out, downloaded it immediately. When it updated and it came back on, I didn't have cell service,
Which is always nice.
not only did I not have cell service, Touch ID didn't work, and so that was a problem.
Yeah.
And so, which makes sense because the cell service is not working. Obviously, it's not connecting.
Right.
So, first thing I did was I called Verizon because I've had it happen before where the people that paid my phone bill, because I'm still on a plan with my folks. And so they actually the ones that send out the payments.
Yeah.
And so I called to make sure that they had paid their bill, and they had. And the lady from Verizon told me that, I can see you're getting a signal. I don't know why your phone's not getting it. She told me she had to put me through to Tier 2 tech support. I told her I had to, I was using my wife's phone because obviously my phone, no signal.
Right.
And even if it had, I would have had to turn it on and off. Anyway.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I don't have another phone in the house. My wife's about to leave. She said, well, you can come into a store and we'll let you use our phone, which was like, well, okay. So I could just go to a friend's house, right, and get the equal amount of treatment. So I hung out with her, and I decided that before I got out of my house and drove across town to go to the Verizon store, that I would Google my problem, and I did, and in 2 seconds, I found out what the problem was. And so that brings me to this. First of all, Apple, I need you to get your crap together.
You did see apparently who the same person was that was in charge.
I did.
Of it,
So what we found out is
which was unfortunate.
In the disaster that was Apple Maps a while back, there was a team that was put together for Apple Maps, and when it failed miserably the first time around, they fired the people that were in charge.
Right.
But some of the team members on that failed Apple Maps team still stuck around. And one of those was, were they in charge of this, or were they just part of it?
Well, I'm not sure exactly which, what's particularly right, but the way it was reported, at least, was that he was overseeing 802.
That's what I heard.
8, whatever.
8.0.1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I read it too. So supposedly one of the guys on the team from failed Apple Maps was overseeing this failed Apple thing.
Yeah.
So here's what I need to happen, because Apple needs to get there. This doesn't need to happen ever again. I understand that sometimes software comes out and there's bugs. I get it. But pretty much unanimously, people's phones broke if they updated over the air. If you plugged in the computer, most people were fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't, because why would I? I mean, you advertise like over the air is the way they want you to do it. That why would it be a thing? So I just need this not to happen. It looks bad. I understand that things happen, but it is what it is. Now, it's fixed now, and I knew how to fix it, and so I put up a video on my YouTube channel and showed people how to fix it, and linked people to show them how to fix it, because I was trying to get it out quick.
Right.
I mean, if you know how to manually install an OS on a phone, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Which I've done plenty of times, because we were rocking iOS 7 when it was still in the developer previews, and so
Right.
I mean, I was aware of how to do that.
Yeah.
It wasn't that complicated. It was a little frustrating to me, and it kind of bothers me that once I knew that would fix it, but I didn't think that would have to be what you had to do.
Right.
Once Apple grabbed a hold of it, I thought maybe they'd push 8.0 back out to everybody.
Yeah.
It obviously doesn't work that way. Because even Apple was saying, no, you got to go download and install it manually, which to me, it negates what I've always said about Apple, where like things just work. Because if you're not a tech person, all of that stuff is really hard.
Yeah, no, it is.
As evidenced by the fact that I had a guy comment on my video saying, hey, I tried everything. I can't get my phone to work. What do I do? And so I went and watched his video. And the thing he wasn't doing was he had the file, and he was hitting check for update, which is obviously not going to work. And he was hitting the restore, and obviously not going to work. You have to control click it. And I told him that. I said, buddy, you got to control click. And he's like, well, I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay. So it bothered me, because it kind of, I've said for a long time, Apple stuff just works, and when something goes wrong, it's pretty quickly fixed. The fix for this didn't come until over 24 hours later.
Yeah.
So unless you knew how to go in and manually restore your phone to a previous version, you had a brick for over 24 hours.
Yeah.
And that's unacceptable in my book.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty big.
So, I mean, somebody's head's going to roll, I think, over it.
Probably. Probably that poor guy.
Probably that guy.
Yeah.
He dodged it the first time, but the second time we got him.
Yeah.
The other thing that has come out about iPhones is Bendgate. Hashtag Bendgate. Hashtag Bentgate. So here's the raw facts of the first bit, and then I'm going to talk about kind of what we've seen as it comes out. When it started, basically what happened is a couple of people online in some forums were saying, hey, my iPhone 6 Plus is bending in my pocket. So people grabbed onto it and said, okay, well, people's phones are bending in their pockets. It's happening all the time. Well, it's not, because we found out. But I won't go there yet. What happened is this whole thing comes out, and then a guy from, I think the channel was something unboxing or unboxing something. Anyway, YouTube channel, had his iPhone 6 Plus, and he bent it on camera. Well, some of it was on camera.
Yeah.
He said he bent it all on camera, and so basically he took his hands, he pushed, and he bent the phone, proving that yes, the phone could in fact bend, which to me was not a surprise. I mean, first of all, it's aluminum. It's a big sheet of aluminum on the back of your phone.
Yeah. Well, the other problem with that is the video is not exactly what it seems either.
Right. And I was gonna get there, but so could the phone bend? Yes. So can a lot of phones, because that's what people started doing next was, can we bend other phones? And you can. In fact, the Note 4 that I think the Note 4 that it's mostly metal on the back, it bends too, because you have a sheet of malleable metal, aluminum, on the back of your phone. Yes, it could bend. This microphone could probably bend if I wanted it to. My MacBook case could bend if I wanted it to, because it's aluminum.
My MacBook Air would definitely bend.
Your MacBook Air would definitely bend. So, yeah, the channel was Unbox Therapy. Thanks, Simon. So, basically, that was the first brunt of it. And then it was all over Twitter. It became a trending topic. Samsung, LG, all your companies latched onto it, started tweeting photos of their phones. LG, I thought was funny because they have that Flex phone, which we got to play with in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And they did the whole our phone bends because it's supposed to. First of all, no, it doesn't bend. It is bent. That's the way it's built. It doesn't bend. In fact, if I were to try to take your phone and bend it, it would probably break in half. Because I've held the phone. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. Anyway, that kind of made me mad. But also what made me laugh is their tweet about Bentgate was tweeted from a freaking iPhone. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So they tweeted it from an iPhone. So I don't believe your hype about you hating it. There's another one where they showed an iPhone bent to bow down to another phone, which was kind of funny. I thought it was cute, but all those phones bend too. Here's where the problem comes into play, though, because this thing blew up. It was everywhere. I mean, I have an app called Zeit that aggregates news for me.
Yeah.
And I was flipping through it, and I have a tab for iPhone because I was really following that as we were waiting for iPhone leaks and stuff.
Right.
And that day, and really the next couple of days, and probably even still today, it's been Bentgate, phone bent, all over the place. Here's the problem. As far as Apple is concerned, they've only had 9 cases of this.
Right.
So first of all, that's not a lot. It does not constitute, a catastrophe or a conspiracy. It's 9 phones.
Out of the 10 million that they sold in the first 3 days.
Out of the 10 million they sold in the first 3 days. It seems to be isolated to, and I say that because it's not a thing. It's isolated to the 6 Plus, which makes sense because it's bigger. So yeah, it's going to take up more space in your pocket. But so Apple's saying they've only got 9 of them turned in. What's happening now is that people are going into Apple stores and bending phones.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. Like I said earlier, yes, will the phone bend if you try hard enough? For sure. But even Unbox Therapy, who was asked in an interview later, talked about how hard it was to bend it. And that his hands hurt for hours afterwards, is what he said. And that he was to the point where his thumbs hurt for the rest of the day. And he was shaking trying to bend it. It was not an easy bend.
Right.
And then to one-up everybody, Apple released footage from the place where they test all of these phones and showed they put it through a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah.
So average use on your iPhone 6 and 6 Plus is not going to bend it. And I admit, I fell prey to this idea myself. I have a 6. I don't even have a 6 Plus. But I did find myself, when I heard about Bentgate, I took my phone and I would lay it on my desk and I would wobble it to see had I bent it even just a little bit. The answer to that was no, because even Unbox Therapy found out that bending the iPhone 6 is almost impossible. It will do it technically, but not in the way, quote unquote, that the 6 Plus did. So blown away out of proportion, which makes me wonder who made this thing happen.
Well, it may not necessarily that anybody made it happen, but I think any time that someone has an in to make Apple look stupid, they do.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the companies jumped on it super fast. I mean, they had very nicely done graphics up, the day of, within, hours of it kind of breaking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're right. Anytime someone can get, like, something to say negative against Apple, they're going to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like with the celebrity leak basement and all that about iCloud. It has nothing to do with iCloud.
Right, yeah.
If Microsoft had a system that tens of billions of people use, then
yeah, for sure,
it would be a problem too.
So that's enough iPhone stuff. So I wanted to talk about this. We don't want to talk about news and stuff, but I really wanted to tell you guys about my weird dream. So I should preface this and say I'm an SNL fan. I love SNL. It's one of my highlights of my week, honestly. I love watching it. So SNL came back this week with some cast members had left from the last season that I really liked. Brought in a couple of new cast members. One of which, Michael Che, who came over from The Daily Show. That he is exciting. I thought he was great on Weekend Update. Did you see the Weekend Update?
Haven't seen it yet.
He did really good. Cecily Strong is one of the actresses that is she's one of the actresses that used to do Weekend Update. She was able to go back to an old character that she used to play, which made me really happy. She's really fun. So yeah, SNL. So my weird dream. So in my dream, I was the host of SNL, which doesn't make any sense. So I'm the host of SNL, and I kind of like I've read a lot about like SNL history and like just hearing people talk about SNL. Like I feel like I sort of know, like I don't know. I know what kind of the process is, and so in my mind I was like, in my dream I was the host. So I was in the meeting in the writers' room, and like they're going over sketches, and I was like, okay, cool. And I was noticing that, like, I'm the host, but, like, I'm not really getting a whole lot of sketches thrown my way, which didn't make any sense. And at some point, they brought in Peter Dinklage to replace me, except for they didn't tell me that they were replacing me. So I was still there. And Peter Dinklage is now, like, in sketches that should have me in them. And so, like, I did have one sketch, so I go on, I do the sketch, I come off, and I'm like, okay, shouldn't there be, like, someone to tell me, like, what the next thing is? Like,
right.
Someone's going to lead, and I know there would be. And in my mind, I was like, okay, there's a board somewhere that has all the sketches. And so I go and I find the board. I'm like, I'm not on any of these. And so I decide, well, okay, I'm just going to go and chill, like, in the green room. So I do. I go to the green room, and I'm watching, and it's hilarious. It was a good show. I was, like, trying not to be mad that they weren't using me, and I was just watching it. And I was getting hungry. And so in the green room, apparently, there was a kitchen. And I open up the fridge, and there's, like, a thing of eggs. And so I'm like, oh, awesome. So I get the eggs out, and I make myself an omelet, as you do. While I'm making the omelet, I'm watching the TV in the green room, and apparently the musical guest is Eminem. And so I'm jamming out to Eminem, cooking an omelet. Eminem gets off stage. They start the next sketch, again without me. I'm not anywhere in this sketch. And so I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to eat my omelet, and fine. So then Eminem comes in and, like, gets right in my face and starts yelling at me because apparently those were his eggs.
Mm.
And so I literally, in my dream, was like, I'm about to get beaten up by Eminem for eating his eggs. And I just thought of how ridiculous the whole thing was. And literally, like, you know how when you have, like, a scary dream and, like, you wake up real fast?
Mm-hmm.
I literally, like, woke up, like, because Eminem was yelling at me in my dream, and I was that terrified of the whole ordeal. So I don't know what that's about. I'm not a dream expert. But I think it might be because SNL's been gone for a really long time. There's a lot of changes, and I was sort of worried, I guess, that it wasn't going to be good. And obviously that episode would not have been good. I mean, it might have been better than me, but it was still like it was just it was messed up anyway.
Right.
So I don't know. Weird dream. Dreams are weird, guys. Dreams are weird. Hey, if you ever had a weird dream, let us know down in the comments. That'd be a fun one, right?
Yeah, that would be a fun one.
Let us know your weird dream. Okay, that's that. Back to news. Real quick, you said something about the Apple Watch 4 came in.
Oh yeah, well they had some stuff released today apparently that the kind of how the app situation is going to work on the watch, and it seems like you're going to have an app on your phone that is basically a gateway to the watch.
Okay,
which makes sense because you're not wanting who wants the App Store on like a 1.6 inch display? That would be miserable. And so apparently everything's going to be interfaced with the phone, and somehow the watch is even going to rely on the phone for performance somehow.
Okay.
To try to give, I guess, battery life a better shake. So, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how all that works. But
yeah.
They've been showing it off over in Paris, this week. And
I know, so this is kind of not that, but it would kind of work like this maybe. I know Sony had a thing on the PS3 that you could, loan out some of the processing power of your PS3 to, this university that was doing some experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bet it's sort of like that on the phone, where it's gonna do the bulk of the processing on the phone, push it over, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
You would think. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, oh, cool, that'll make it cheaper. I know that's false.
Yeah, no.
It'll just make it more powerful. It means they can make it cheaper on their end, still charge us the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's cool. It's a neat idea.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea.
Okay, so I want to talk about shows and movies. And so I want to talk about a show that I'm excited about, and then a show that I've been watching, and then I'm going to let you take it away from there.
Okay.
So one show I'm excited about, it premieres tonight, is Selfie. And I'm excited about it for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a big Doctor Who fan. And so Karen Gillan, I think is how you pronounce her name. She is a character. She plays a character in Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite characters in Doctor Who. I think she's really good.
She's the lead, right, in the show.
She's the lead in the show.
Okay.
And she was in Oculus, and she was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And so it's about her, and she plays this kind of social media person. She's famous on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently is a horrible person.
Right.
And she enlists the help of kind of an image person, basically a PR person, to help her kind of get her image under control, and because nobody likes her, and something big happens and nobody likes her anymore, and she's trying to get her image under control. So it's basically, well, when you read a review of it, it will say that it's the story of Pygmalion kind of brought into normal, modern things, which would be an accurate depiction of it. But to me, it's like a modern version of My Fair Lady, minus the singing, which, to be fair, My Fair Lady was a musical version of the story of Pygmalion.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm excited. It's weird to me because they didn't, change the names.
Yeah.
Her name is still, Liza Doolittle or something.
Yeah.
His name is still Henry Higgins, and it's Harold from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I think it could be funny. It could not be funny, and I'd probably still maybe watch it.
Right.
But I think it's borrowing from one of My Fair Lady is one of my favorite musicals. It's up there.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of excited. So that premieres tonight, and I'm gonna watch it on Hulu. Tomorrow, so maybe I can talk about it next week and see if it was any good, because it might not be. It might be.
No, with ABC,
There's no telling.
There's always that risk.
There's no telling,
Yeah.
and it could be good, and then they'll kill it.
Also a good possibility.
One of the things I've been watching, this is not new, but it's new to me, is the final season of How I Met Your Mother is now on Netflix. So the whole show of How I Met Your Mother is on Netflix. And if you have not watched How I Met Your Mother, you haven't. If you haven't watched How I Met Your Mother, it is arguably one of the best written comedies in a while. Because I think a really good comedy does multiple things. It makes you laugh, it can make you feel. And How I Met Your Mother does that, and it's just solidly written comedy. It's very fast paced. Jokes come back all the time, so they're kind of cyclical. So you'll get a joke in season 1, and jokes that came out in season 1 are coming out in season 9 still. They're still referring back to them, but it's always in like a different way. Like one of the ways they do it a lot is like the joke may have been relegated to one character at one point, but over the series, different characters have taken that joke and kind of made it their own. It's brilliant, super smart, so good. I can't really talk that show up enough. So we're gonna the next free weekend you're binge watching this show. I don't care, and you'll want to because they're short. They're 24 minutes. And you get done with one, you're like, okay, cool, let's go to the next one. To me, it's one of the perfect shows for binge watching. I mean, we just started season 9, my wife and I, oh God, I don't want to talk about it, this weekend, and we're probably on episode 19, and there's 24 episodes in a season.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's what we've been doing with our lives. But if you haven't watched How I Met Your Mother, watch it. Do it. You have to. You owe it to yourself. So, take you some free time, a couple of hours maybe to get some of the first episodes in. Chill out. Watch them. They're good. It's a good show, guys. So, yeah. Anyway, you said you want to talk about some shows?
Well, I've watched, I started season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which... the first season was pretty... I know you haven't really watched it a whole lot.
I haven't.
The first season was pretty rough. Although, after Captain America 2 came out, I understood why it was so rough, because I think the development of that show wasn't... It was just kind of a mess, and as far as kind of the main plot points had to be revealed after Captain America came out. So this season felt a little more cohesive as far as... spoiler alert, we know S.H.I.E.L.D. has been compromised and kind of all this kind of thing,
right?
And so they have is it Lucy Lawless, the one that plays was Xena?
Yeah, Lucy Lawless.
So she's in the new season.
Okay.
They had a couple other new characters. I don't know, it felt like for a pilot it felt pretty good for them. I'm interested to see how they're going to carry the show forward and kind of where they're going to have to leave it.
Yeah.
For Ultron and
good point.
Else. So it'd be interesting to see how it does. The pilot I thought was pretty good, and then we started watching Getting Away with Murder or How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long
yeah.
title for a show.
It's the emo song of
exactly.
the TV world.
Yeah. And so it's written by the same lady that does Scandal and Grey's Anatomy.
Of course it is.
Which I haven't really, people tell me Scandal is good. I haven't really watched Scandal.
Grey's is good. I hate that I say that, but it is.
I know, yeah. But Viola Davis is the main character, which I'm a big fan of her. So I think I don't know if the show was as great as I think it is, or if it's just because she's in it and I think she's great. So I have to watch it probably a few more episodes. But anyway, that was pretty entertaining to watch. It's done interesting because it kind of starts off, in the future, and then they come back, So I don't know. It had some interesting points. I'm curious to see how it goes. My DVR is not even ready.
No, it's not ready.
It's we can't. There's no way I can record everything. So
can't watch every show.
So Hulu will be my friend.
Hulu. Yep, I love Hulu. Real quick before I know we want to talk about movies. But I want to get to JBJ's question because I feel like if we start the movies, we might not ever get to his question.
That's fair.
So, did you not? You didn't. Oh, you haven't sent it yet. You said getting it rendered, so you haven't sent it yet. Okay, just kidding. We're gonna talk about a movie. So we watched the trailer to. I'm assuming Taken 3 is what they're calling it.
It's really The Fugitive 3, actually. I think
it is. Was there a Fugitive 2?
I think there was.
That sounds.
Well, no, actually, no, there wasn't.
That sounds awful.
No, there wasn't. It was. There was a movie that was similar to The Fugitive that had the same people. Remember, it was Wesley Snipes in that one.
No.
Okay, so like
Are you talking about that movie with Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah, the first Fugitive movie was Tommy Lee Jones and like that same team of people.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's I have it in a 2-pack. It was the same character. Tommy Lee Jones played the same character.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's the same character.
Right.
But okay. So
this could be a reboot of The Fugitive.
Well, here's the okay.
And apparently Forrest Whitaker is playing Tommy Lee Jones.
I haven't watched any of the Taken movies.
I've seen the first one. Okay, and the first one was okay, but you know, but the whole premise of the thing is that
they took someone.
The daughter gets taken.
Is that that's 1 and 2, right? She's taken in both of those.
No.
What happens in the second one?
I don't know. Well, I know the in that one I think it's the wife gets taken.
The wife gets taken. Okay.
Okay, but the whole premise of this whole series is that someone is taken.
Right. Exactly. Correct. Which is And
but so the thing is this this is another example of movies that don't need to keep being made.
Right.
And like I like Liam Neeson, like just fine. But I don't need I don't need multiple. I don't need Taken 4 after this one gets finished.
Right.
So the first Taken was good. Can we just leave that and just find something else for Liam Neeson to do? Right. Battleship 2 or whatever.
Please, no.
No, it was a terrible movie. But like, I would rather see that. Well, no, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
Just find him something else.
Yeah.
And so, but God, like this one's Taken 3, and it's not even spelled. Took 3 in, or however you want to pronounce
Taken,
it.
It's TAK 3 in.
Yeah.
So it's took 3 in.
Okay, but the thing is like that's cute for like a graphic or something, but like not for a movie title.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But then on this one, it's not. Nobody's taken.
No one's
the wife
taken.
Is killed.
He's killed. He's framed for it, and he runs off.
He's run.
So it's the fugitive. If the fugitive had a teenage daughter.
Yeah.
Basically, and is the girl she's been his daughter through all the movies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's Shannon from Lost,
right?
Who is? I'm adding her now. I'm adding her now, like under Christian Bale, because I hate her in Lost. I hate her.
Well,
I hate her. There's this scene in Lost, and it sums up how useful she is to the whole dang show. In the first episode of Lost. The first time you see her, she is standing in one spot, screaming into the wind. And that's pretty much her whole performance in Lost. She's awful. She's awful. And she's no good in that. I mean, she's an okay actress. And I mean, she's pretty, but like, ugh, I hated her.
Well,
You ever hated a character so much that you can't even appreciate the person anymore? That's what Shannon was for me. Oh, there's another scene in Lost where she's just like, everyone's like pitching in and helping out, and this girl, I want to call her other things, is like sunbathing, and I'm like, I want to punch you in the face. And that's when I see her now, that's what I see. And so I'm glad she got taken. Honestly, I didn't know she was the girl, but I'm glad. And I think the movie should have ended with one, and we don't ever get her back because she's just awful. Awful. But I don't understand. I don't understand why. I understand why there's a 3 in the title. It's stupid. Nobody does that. It's not a thing that we do.
I think the other thing that's kind of like, why is Forrest Whitaker in this? Like, you just get through the butler, and the next thing you do is Taken 3.
I don't know. And then, like, the other thing that bothers me, it still bothers me about the 3 is, I've never liked it. I didn't even like it in 7, and 7 is a good movie.
7's a fantastic.
But it's stupid. It makes sense to me. 7?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, sure, like you said, it looks fine graphically, but
So if you have nothing else to do, You should go on YouTube and you
Watch
should watch Taken 3.
Watch Taken 3, The Tookening.
The Tookening.
I
mean, actually, it'll save you from having to go see the movie at all.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, JBJ got his question in, so we're gonna listen to that, and hopefully it's good.
Hello there, dead horse beaters. This is JBJ Blaze.
And it's funny how I always like to go for that accent, but
Anyway, I'm wondering what you think of companies that will close shop or shut down after a while, like the DWP most recently. Anyway, thanks for the great show, and bye-bye.
Okay, so the question was like companies that shut down, or close shop. So he mentioned the Dead Workers Party. So I don't know if you know the Dead Workers Party, but they do a Minecraft podcast called The Shaft. And I reckon, because I didn't really follow, I've been a bad fan apparently, but I think they're done. I think they have moved on to do their own things, and they're doing their own YouTube channels and their own business endeavors. It bums me out. I mean, I get upset when any like group of people that I'm like a big part of, like I really care about, like splits up.
Yeah.
I mean, the good news is a lot of times, like in this case, I mean, I think it's pretty good. Like they're okay between them. I don't think anybody's mad, right? But yeah, like sometimes they are, and that's a bummer. I mean, you hate to see people split. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of a company that's like this for me. I don't really know. I know I get this like with bands a lot. Like bands will break up.
Right.
A lot of times then it is bad. Like it's like they don't like each other anymore.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it has to happen eventually. I mean, the way I look at it, I mean, it has to happen. These things can't go on forever. But like, trying to think. Oh, the perfect example. So I was watching a thing with Jon Stewart talking about The Daily Show, and it was the comedians in cars getting coffee, and he was talking to Jerry Seinfeld, and he was basically talking about the day that he'll have to give The Daily Show to someone else.
Right.
And it's sad to think about it, but it has to happen eventually.
Right.
Jon Stewart took The Daily Show and turned it into something completely different than what it was.
Yeah.
And completely better than what it was.
Yeah.
But one day he'll have to give it to someone. Now the beauty of it is that when he turns it over to someone, it knows what it is now. And so the next person that does it, I think is going to do it fine. I mean, John Oliver showed us he could do it.
Yeah, I mean, his show's fantastic.
And I mean, he's moved. I'm telling you, if you have HBO and you can watch John Oliver's show, he, as funny as he is, he has broken into actual investigative journalism.
Yeah.
And his pieces are changing things now. Like, I don't know if you saw the Miss America thing.
Yeah.
But, like, apparently there was a huge surge in giving to other, like, women's scholarships because of his piece. Mm-hmm. We found out through his piece that, like, Miss America pageant is lying. Like, they've been lying about how much money they give away. And that just blows my mind that this comedy show is killing. I know that's off topic, but my point in all that was that I think when people close shop and move on to other things, you just have to expect that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And understand that it changes the thing. It has to happen. It's a bummer, and you hate it, but it's inevitable, I think.
It's true.
It's inevitable. There will be a day. I don't know when that day will come, but I'll have to do something else,
Yeah.
I hope not for a long time, but I mean it will probably happen.
Yeah.
Life is gonna chug along, and we'll see what things happen. Anyways, back to movies. Real quick. So they're releasing a sequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Right.
But which is cool. But here's the thing. They're releasing it on Netflix and in IMAX theaters at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Well, you know, if other people wanted to do that, that would be okay with me.
Yeah, because... Yep. I don't even have because. Just yes. Just yes.
Well, the thing about it is, like, I don't think we've talked about this in the show before, but, you know, like, I still like going to the theater to watch a movie. Like I have no desire to really sit at my house and exclusively watch things on my TV. That being said, there are things that I don't necessarily want to pay $10 to see that I might pay $5 to see.
Yep.
At home or whatever. And so the option would be nice. Or if Netflix just wanted to buy it and include it with my subscription, that'd be okay
wonderful. Yeah, man, I think it's a cool idea. I'll probably watch it. And honestly, this probably will make me go in, because I'm going to confess, I never watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So I'll probably go back and watch it now. Because, why not?
It's a good movie.
Why not? I liked kung fu movies back in the day. Hero is one of my favorites. Have you seen Hero?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hero's so good and beautiful. If you're like a cinematographer person, that movie is genius. Just in the use of color.
Well, I think you'll like this for the same reason.
Cool, awesome, sold. So the thing is, I don't think it's on Netflix.
I don't think it is.
So I'm gonna have to go find it. So I mean, heck, I'll probably go find it somewhere.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to be good for me. I'm excited. And it's interesting because, this is where it starts, but who knows what this looks like down the road.
Yeah.
So I think Netflix knows that it has the money to do kind of whatever it wants to.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through one thing real quick because it's a small one. But I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. I've been kind of trying to follow news about his newest movie as much as I can. We've known for a while the movie was going to be called The Hateful Eight. We thought for a second that it wasn't going to get made because Tarantino got his panties in a wad because someone leaked his script.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that someone was Michael Madsen, right? Isn't that what I...
Seems to be the...
So, Michael Madsen, don't be a turd nugget. Don't do that. That was just the first thing that came to my mind. What would someone who leaks a script be? They would be a turd nugget.
It's kind of like your phone. Don't bend your phone.
Yeah, so don't do that. But so the movie almost didn't get made. They did like a table read, and I guess people liked it. Mm-hmm. So it's getting made now, and I'm excited. I'm excited about it, and it's starting filming in December.
Yeah.
And apparently is all going to film in Colorado. Mm-hmm. So it should be a quick film, like a quick filming process, and maybe we'll get a movie soon. I'm excited. I think what I love, because I've been Tarantino fan pretty way back. Not obviously way back, not when he was first coming out, but the first movies I saw of his were Kill Bill. Then I started working my way backwards, and watched. The next thing I watched was Pulp Fiction, and then I watched Reservoir Dogs, and then I got Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown's so good. Yeah. It's underappreciated. But honestly, I like every Tarantino movie, including Death Proof, which I know a lot of people don't like. It's not my favorite. It's my least favorite Tarantino movie. But still, that means it's a pretty good movie to me. I just like his style. As a person who talks way more than they should, I appreciate his writing style. It holds my attention well.
Right.
Django Unchained, fantastic film.
Yeah, it really is fantastic.
Inglourious Basterds is a fantastic film. I'm glad that he gets recognition for being a good director.
Yeah.
Because, in my opinion, Kill Bill, those movies are the movies, but they just came out at a time where nobody was going to take that seriously.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because, Pulp Fiction, people like the Academy started paying attention. Yeah. And I think he lost the Academy with Kill Bills. Yeah. I just think they were like, puh. Because they still did good at, I think they did good at Cannes.
Yeah.
So that they did fine there, but they didn't do well with the Academy, I don't think. And so to have him come in and make movies that they're liking is good. It puts him out there. He's always gotten good actors though, so you can't even say he got good actors.
Yeah,
because his previous movies had good. Even Reservoir Dogs has good. You got Harvey Keitel in there. You got Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Tim Roth before he kind of had really blown up.
Yeah.
But you got big names in there. So I'm happy, and it makes me excited honestly, I get more excited for every new Tarantino movie because I know, like, this one's going to be more legitimate than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
In the eyes of the people that matter. Because, like, honestly, Django is not any more ridiculous than Kill Bill.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just, it's done better. I mean, it's newer.
Yeah.
But it's the same feel. He makes revenge movies. That's what Tarantino makes.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. The intro, the teaser they released for this made me excited because it felt sort of like Kill Bill to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm stoked. Okay, I don't know which one we should talk about next. Maybe we can get through. Let's start with Avengers.
Okay.
So, Avengers 3 is coming out.
2.
Well, Avengers 2 is coming out. Then we'll get to Avengers 3.
Yeah.
So apparently the talk has come around that perhaps Avengers 3 will be split into 2 movies. Here's all the things wrong with that. Number 1, Joss Whedon is writing the source material for this. Like, I mean, sure, he's pulling from comics and ideas from comics, but it's not like an arc, like you said earlier. We were talking. It's not an arc that's the Age of Ultron.
No.
It's not one comic. It's not a graphic novel. He's pulling from. He's taking ideas that exist in the Marvel universe, putting them together into one story, and making a movie. So why is there gotta be 2? Here's why. Because people expect the third movie in a trilogy to be, or the not third movie, but the last movie in a series to be 2 movies. But the problem is, it's not gonna be the last movie. Like, we know this.
Okay, but this is the thing: is like, if it's 2 different movies, like if they're shooting the third like all in once and they're gonna split it into 2. Like, I get that from a financial aspect. As far as, like, if they're going to release one in 2018 and they're going to release one in 2019 or whatever the time frame is.
Yeah.
Like, basically what Peter Jackson has done with The Hobbit. But you can't release, like, you know, Avengers Civil War Part 1, and it's going to be this, and then, or whatever the title is going to be.
Yeah.
And then release Part 2. Like, I don't... You know what I mean? Like, I don't...
Yeah,
This may be the last movie of this set of Avengers, but it's not going to be the
last Avengers movie. No. It may be the last one Joss Whedon does. But, like, it's not going to be the last. Like, they've already said, like, we're going to make a bunch of movies and make an Avengers movie. We make a bunch of movies, make an Avengers movie. So, like...
The trend to make the last thing into 2 is a stupid trend. There's only been a couple movies that have benefited from that.
Well, okay, so it makes sense when it's a book, because a book's already written, you have to match the book, and if there's a lot of stuff in the book, then you have to split it to do it justice, which is what Harry Potter did.
Yeah.
The Hobbit, while I love anytime I get to be involved with Middle-earth on a cinematic level, I love it. There's 0 reason The Hobbit should be 3 movies. 0. Except for money and because I like it. But, like, story-wise, that book is this big.
Yeah.
And I understand he pulled, like, I'm probably a Tolkien fan somewhere that is mad because I just said that, but I understand he pulled from the appendices. I mean, look, I get it. I'm a Tolkien fan. Look behind us. Like, I get it. And I love Middle-earth, and I love watching, and I know and understand, and it scares me that this is probably the last time my eyeballs are going to venture into Middle-earth, because the Tolkien estate is a stingy load of poop, and they won't let... I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not, but let us make movies. You know, I just... It makes me mad, and it makes me sad. I get it. I understand the want to stretch it out. But it was sort of unnecessary. Twilight had no reason to be 2 movies.
Well, I mean, even The Hunger Games really doesn't have...
Because it's a small book
it's
too,
a small
right?
book, yeah. I mean, so I don't... I mean, like, Harry Potter at least had a reason. Quite frankly, Harry Potter, the last couple of books could have been all 2-parters, and I wouldn't have complained.
Right.
But that's just because I'm a fan. But, like...
Honestly, starting at 4,
Yeah,
they could have all been two-parters.
I mean, are big books. I mean, and so anyway, like that has a reason. Like I get that. But like, Divergent's going to be split into 2. Like, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fourth, like that.
Whatever the
series.
last one is, yeah.
I don't care about that, but whatever, whatever the third book is
It'll be
what's
2.
gonna happen.
It'll be 2 movies.
Twilight, there was no reason for that at all, other than just to make money, and they did. So I mean,
and it was your mom,
good for
and
them.
your mom, and maybe not your mom, but it was mom's.
Yeah.
Shame on you, and my wife, who just yelled from the other room. It was her too. She gets when I talk about Twilight, somehow my wife appears and gets mad. But what I'm saying is, so I don't think Twilight needed to be 2 movies, but at least it's the source material. You can make the argument that to do it justice, it needed to be split into 2 movies. Sure, fine, but that argument is null and void for Avengers because it doesn't exist. It's not written yet. Joss Whedon is writing it. Unless he is actually doing Avengers Civil War. If he is doing Avengers Civil War, then sure, there's a reason, because that is an existing storyline, and if he does it any sort of justice, it would have to be 2 movies.
I think that's the only viable thing that it would have to, they could do it is 2.
But here's the problem with Avengers Civil War. I'd love Avengers Civil War. I would do just about anything for an Avengers Civil War movie because it's one of my favorite comic book things.
Yeah.
In all of it. Every comic book thing I've ever read, heard about, thought about, this is it. This is the end all be all because it pits every superhero against themselves in the Marvel universe. There's a whole pro-registration thing, like Tony Stark and a bunch of other superheroes kind of jump on board and they're like, oh yeah, well, let's register our powers with the government. That way we know what everybody does. We become agents for the government, working for them. There's a whole another bunch that doesn't want to do that, headed by Captain America because he doesn't want to be a part of that sort of thing. Which there's all sorts of things coming from him, from like the fact that he's been working for the government for so long, and like it's so good and it's so deep, and like getting into characters like thoughts and histories. But the thing that kills me is that for Avengers Civil War to work, you sort of need Spider-Man, in my opinion,
right?
Because Peter Parker is the first one that Tony Stark convinces to be pro-registration. And then Peter is really a big part of helping people come in. Peter and Tony are a big part of bringing that side along, and that's what kind of starts the war. And I just, Disney doesn't have rights to Spider-Man right now.
No.
Now, this could all change if Sony doesn't get their head out of their butt, which might be what's happening.
Which could be a possibility.
But, Civil War would be the only reason you split a movie into 2 movies.
Yeah.
And I know there's been rumors and like smatterings that Civil War would be the 3rd movie,
but nobody knows.
but we don't know.
Yeah.
And so honestly, we don't need to know this right now.
Yeah.
But of course, we want to know everything, and so we've someone has ferreted out this piece of information, but not the rest of it. Yeah. And so until then, we will just be nerd mad at it because we can be. But yeah, I don't think it. I don't know. Would I watch both of them? Of course, in a New York minute. I'd watch both of them twice. I don't even know what they're going to be. I know I'm going to watch them. I know I'm going to love them. But I can still be mad. It's the same thing with not Harry Potter, with The Hobbit. I know I'm going to love every Hobbit movie. I'm still mad he made them into 3.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I was mad when they said 2. Because that was, if you don't remember, that's how it went down. Where they're like, oh, we're going to be a Hobbit movie. Awesome, The Hobbit, cool. And there's going to be 2 movies. Okay, that's weird. That's a pretty short book. I know we're going to make it 3. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I could have gone with The Hobbit as 2 movies. But
I'll get more mad about this if Joss Whedon comes out and is like, Avengers Extended Edition. I'll be mad then.
Yeah.
I'll be mad. So I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Avengers, don't you want to buy it 3 times?
Right, because that's what That's what Peter Jackson does to us. And here, can I just talk to Peter Jackson for a second?
Peter, if you're listening,
stop it. We love you, and we love your movies.
we do.
And I bought. I remember going to the store. Let me spin a yarn. Let me spin a yarn for you. I remember going to the store and I bought the Fellowship of the Ring on DVD. It was one of the. It wasn't the first DVD I bought, but I remember I was super excited. Like I made a special trip to buy it.
Yeah.
Like I came out and I was like, I'm gonna go get it, and I went and I got it and I picked up my Fellowship of the Ring theatrical release. Of course, it didn't say that on the box. It just said Fellowship of the Ring because it was the frickin' movie. We didn't know that there was gonna be two, and I opened it up, and I'm gonna blame you for this, had put inside of my brand new, I just bought it on day one DVD, a piece of paper that said extended edition. And I was like, what? And then there was a picture of it. And my version of the DVD, a little plastic case with a little picture of Elijah Wood's stupid face on the front of it. And the picture in the box looked like a daggum leather-bound book. And he said there that you would have, like, all these bonus features and extra things. And I had to buy it. And it's over there. And you know how many times I've watched it? Once. I've watched the extended edition once. And you know why? That's not fair. I've watched The Return of the King once, extended edition. I've watched Fellowship more than that. But you know why I haven't watched it in years? Because when you put the movies out again on Blu-ray, which is fine because I want it on Blu-ray, you only gave me the theatrical release. And I knew you were going to put out an extended edition. But here's what you did. You went on your website and said, I don't know when we're going to put out the extended edition, which was bullcrap because you did know. But I listened, and I bought the theatrical release on Blu-ray, and it's also right over there. And then a couple of months later, just like you did the first time, you put out the extended edition on Blu-ray. And I haven't bought it because I'm mad, but I want it, but it's expensive. And I'm just saying, stop it. We love you. Why don't you just wait? I'll wait. Don't even put them both out at the same time. I'm fine with that. If it means I have to wait 2 extra months for theatrical and extended to come out, package them together. Charge me double. I don't care. Just stop doing it in pieces. End rant. Sorry guys, I just lost it for a second.
It's okay. Apparently we've talked about this before.
I don't care.
JBJ.
I don't care. JBJ says we talked about it before. I'm sure that we have, just like we've talked about how much I hate Christian Bale almost every week.
It's true. But we have an addition this week, so that's nice.
Right. This week it's also, I added Maggie Grace to that list. And her stupid face. So that's a thing. Okay, so the last thing. Apparently, I hate everything this week. I thought about this. We talked about doing
the subtitle for this.
We talked about doing themed episodes.
We did. This is the things that Josh hates.
We talked about doing themed episodes, and I thought about, hey, we should do an episode about things that Josh hates, and then I realized that's every episode. It's every episode.
So really, we should do things that I hate.
We should.
An episode of that.
We'll do things that Jonathan hates, because you guys know.
That's right.
We're going to do it. We're doing things that Jonathan hates. And if I am repeating myself, then it just furthers the proof of the title of the podcast. Because
that's right. This is what we're supposed to be
This is what we're supposed to be doing. We're just doing our jobs.
Right.
The last one is apparently Hollywood, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that we need a Tetris movie.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly know that there's any more that I can say about that. I mean, I could, and I will.
It was described as being an epic
Go ahead.
An epic sci-fi adventure.
In my mind, the only thing I can imagine is like that aliens have to stack buildings.
You know, with the it's. I muscled through Battleship one weekend when it was on FX.
Right.
And when I say muscled through, it really was a job. I should have got a paycheck.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
But you know what though? At least Battleship, the game, is a thing that happens. Like, sort of. I mean, I know that they added aliens and all that crap.
Sort of. But my problem... so I have a problem with just games in general. Not like, Halo or something there's an actual story and dialogue and things like that. But Battleship, terrible. It's a terrible movie. It really is a terrible movie. This will inevitably be horrible.
Terrible. It probably worse than Battleship.
If they were to make another Monopoly movie or Apples to Apples or whatever, take a just go to Walmart and buy a game and then Hollywood's going to make it,
Right.
I just can't even fathom.
Next thing we're going to have Chutes and Ladders, the movie.
You know what? I'm going to make a prediction just right now.
Okay, let's hear it.
The lead star of Tetris is going to be Nicolas Cage. It's going to happen.
Who? What? Where?
It's going to happen. I guarantee you.
Man, I'm telling you. When you Chutes and Ladders, the movie. Jax, the movie.
Frogger, the film.
Tiddlywinks. The animated series.
We really probably need to get cracking.
We did.
Submitting some things.
I was just thinking we should make fake movie posters that are just Chutes and Ladders the movie we got those movie poster templates.
That's true.
Just asking
to be
made. Anyway,
maybe that's what we'll do.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's dumb. It's gonna be awful. The thing is like I said, at least to an extent, if you were in a battleship and you were trying to, in fact, sink another battleship, that would at least sort of fit. I don't know. It's seemingly a thing that's real. The problem is they added all the extra stuff. But, Tetris is not even close to a thing that exists.
No.
Because even if I did stack boxes on top of each other, they don't disappear. So, what is it supposed to be?
I can't even... Honestly, I don't have the brain power to even figure it out.
I literally can't even right now.
I haven't had a sangria today, so...
So, Tetris the movie. Stupid idea? Let us know. If you don't think it is, you're weird. But still let us know. Alright. So, yeah, we're gonna... real quick, I do want to mention, and I did this on the front end, but I'll do it again for kicks and giggles. If you've liked the shirt that I'm wearing, this is actually a Loot Crate shirt. You can pick up your own Loot Crate at lootcrate.com/HodgeJoshMC. You can use the code HodgeJoshMC for 10% off your first month. And this October's theme is fear. And I found out just the other day, and this is the first time I've told anybody on the interwebs, is that this month's theme will have a exclusive licensed Walking Dead item.
Nice.
So, that's cool if you're into that sort of thing. And, so thanks guys for coming out. If you're here in the chat, thank you for coming out. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Both of those things help. If you are watching on YouTube, you should come check us out next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's right.
Say it right here or not right here because you're on YouTube, but right over there at twitch.tv/HodgeJoshMC. And we will be recording live then, and who knows what it'll be about. It might be the episode about what Jonathan hates.
It could be.
It might be me yelling about Peter Jackson again. Those are all. It won't be. I'll give it some time. We won't talk about Pete for a while.
That's right.
But one day we will, and I'll probably give you the same whole tirade I just did. But next time, we'll see you next time.
All right.
All right, bye guys.
Bye guys.